last speaker, Professor Chandima Gomes. Professor Gomes is a distinguished professor of high voltage engineering, the chair of the Eskom Power Plant Engineering Institute, and the director of the Center of Excellence on High Voltage Engineering at the University of Witwatersrand. He's a chartered engineer and chartered physicist and fellow of the South African Institute of Electrical Engineers. At present is the chairman of the energy storage chapter of the SAIEE. Professor has a degree in physics and a PhD in applied physics. He's ranked amongst the top researchers in the world in the field of energies by Stanford University and is also a B1 rated scientist. He has published over 350 research publications that include 138 journal publications, 211 conference publications, and 20 books or chapters in books. So very glad to have you here, Professor. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Mark, for the nice introduction, and also thanks a lot for inviting me for this presentation. And in the next 20 minutes, I will take you through a helicopter view of the future when it comes to the energy storage systems applicable in municipality areas or in the municipality scenario. And I would like to mention something at the very beginning. You know that I'm an academic and a researcher, and many people say that academics are dreamers. So that when I'm giving you this overall picture, if you feel that I'm a little bit in the virtual space, don't worry. Actually, in reality, I'm in the real reality, but I may sound a little virtual. That's the nature of academics. And with that, let us move to the first slide. And this will be somewhat different from the presentation of the previous speakers, because this is an overall picture rather than going deep into one area. But let me tell you that each of these slides can be expanded to at least 1 or 2 hour presentations, and some of these parts are covered by other speakers as well. But let's look at this overall view. Okay, I prepared this whole presentation based on 2 basic advancements that we have seen during the last couple of years. And one of them is the amendments to Electricity Regulation Act, gazetted in 2020, which allow for municipalities to generate their own electricity. All of you know about it, but the question is whether you have taken the advantage out of that. This is a question that we are going to see today. And also, I would like to drag your attention to the MER, Municipal Energy Resilience Project, basically started in Western Cape. And as you may know, that the initial project is developed around 6 municipalities. I'm not going to the details of this. Please go through the reports and also the concept papers and white papers written on the outcome so far of this project. And then you will get an understanding of what really these amendments meant for the municipality councils. And if I just give you a very brief idea about what the outcome of this project is, that they have understood several drawbacks of the municipalities in implementing or adapting the amendments made to the ERA. And they are if I list them out in a very brief manner, policies, plans, and roadmap. Actually, although we have the amendments to the Act, do we have, when I say we, I refer to the municipalities, policies, plans, and roadmap to adapting it with good optimization, good efficiency. Then do they have technical resources, funding or investors, and also procurement expertise to procure wholesale electricity from sources other than Eskom, specifically IPPs. So this is something that the municipality is lacking at present. Please forgive me if I'm making a wrong statement, but this is what I gathered talking to many municipality members. And then the question of energy storage systems. We know that they facilitate improved supply-demand balance and energy resilience of the network. This is well known by everybody. But now the question is that energy storage systems are not generators, so you need energy from somewhere. So that's why I first said that I'm developing this whole presentation on the amendments to the Energy Act. Where does energy come from for story? Off-peak energy from Eskom and IPP. I think the energy bought from Eskom and IPP is what the municipalities have been doing for the last many decades. But when it comes to the energy storage systems, the cheap power, inexpensive power or energy during the off-peak periods play a big role. Well, at another time, we can talk in detail about that. Then rooftop solar PV, I think at the moment, it is under development, both domestic and industrial buildings. So how the municipality can intervene in purchasing this energy. This is something that we have to discuss in detail. Then solar PV farms. So now the municipalities have the ability to generate their own power. Why don't they think big? There are many abandoned metal mine dumps in the country. Of course, there are some issues related to the radioactivity levels and toxicity and so on. But for the time being, keep them aside. We can do some research in this regard. But these metal dumps can be utilized for solar PV farms in large scale, and even wind farms. And also the floating solar on reservoirs is becoming a reality in the last few decades, I may say, but especially in the last 5 years, even in African quantity in Zambia. Now they are thinking about very big scale floating solar reservoirs. And in South Africa, we have more than 100,000 square kilometers of inland water masses. So it's a time to think about this. Then wind farms, both onshore and offshore. And then ownership, ownership and investment. So where does the investment come for this purpose? And one is procurement from Eskom and IPP, which has been doing for the last many years by the municipalities. Then energy trading with private building owners, Eskom municipality partnership. So this is also, I'm not talking about the Eskom relationship with municipality, which is having so far, but a new Eskom municipality partnership. Then IPP municipality partnership, the new contracts where IPPs and municipality can sign to have joint ventures rather than the procurement agreements they have so far. Then third parties, this is very important. There are many funding agencies, investors who are now willing to put their money into the development of energy generation and storage in South Africa. So it is the time that the municipalities pay additional attention, extra attention in attracting these funding resources. And then just to give you a very overall idea about what's happening in the world and in Africa, the off-grid solar access rate by region is what you see in the first diagram, and you see how fast Africa is coming up. It's very obvious because of the geographical conditions and meteorological conditions in Africa. Don't forget that I got only up to 2016, and then onwards there is another peak or another very steep increment in the last 3-4 years. And the next one shows the capacity of wind, solar PV, and the concentrated solar power in the African continent, in South Africa. And what you will see is that it's quite fast increasing for the last few years. So that, I mean, these are not new information for you, but what I'm trying to tell you is that the scenario is a reality. And then the most important part, installing large-scale battery energy storage into PV arrays, wind power and grid network. Now, when a municipality think about this, first think about the purpose. Why we need energy storage systems incorporated or embedded in our networks? For efficient power distribution, reliability and resilience of supply, and customer satisfied income generation. Now, in the previous slide, one of the speakers also mentioned about it. Don't try to make the customer happy or unhappy. It is not very advisable. Make the customer satisfied while you are incoming your generation. Then methodical and well-planned adoption. Develop a well-thought plan and a roadmap starting with one or few pilot projects. So that's why I first mentioned about the Western Cape project that they have developed to see what will be the outcomes when the municipalities adopt the new changes to the Act. Then evaluate the success failure of pilot projects. So for other municipalities, this is very important. Then convince investors with a sound and solid project proposal. Very much in line with many investors who are willing to throw their money into the energy sector, but you need to convince them. Then comes a very critical point, the selection, types of batteries, battery capacities, and placement. So there are so many types of batteries, and battery capacities may differ from application to application, need to need, and where you place them. Then accessories in connection with energy storage systems like inverters, transformers, networks, and so on. Cost and placement optimization. This is where many research and professional institutes like the universities, then CSIR comes into play, ROI prediction in a rapidly improving system efficiency, because now you see that the technology is being developed at a very fast rate. So you have to calculate your ROI taking that into account. Then acquiring expert advice and consultancy for computational tools, prediction models, optimization software, etc. Then operation and sustainability. Follow national and international standards. That's very important. Get the expert services in operation and maintenance. South Africa is having the expertise that is required for this change, so that we don't need to depend on foreign expertise. Sometimes you need get foreign expertise, but you do not need to depend on them. Then predetermine the safety and emergency procedures and waste disposal strategy. I will come up to that in a separate slide very soon. Then manufacturing batteries in South Africa. The country has all the raw materials, ingredients, expertise for the manufacturing of the batteries. Why not municipalities come into play when it comes to the manufacturing process as well? This is a national duty, it's true, but municipalities can play a big role in it. And this is another reality. Smart and resilient microgrids with renewable sources, battery storage systems in urban environments. This is coming very fast. It is not virtual concept. This is actually implemented in many developed countries as well as developing countries. And the scale may have wide spectrum from 20 houses to a small city. Communities have developed various operational mechanisms that are compatible with legislations in their respective regions. For an example, in Nepal, I found that just a couple of months ago, I was there. They have small 20-30 house enclaves or communities where they run their own microgrid, and they can't sell power or they can't sell energy according to their legislation. What they do is that they have an AI algorithm which decides or which tells which house use more energy or which house is using less energy. And according to that, they demand those houses which are having larger consumption of energy to implement more resources like battery banks, solar panels, and so on. So people will adjust to the legislation and come up with solutions. Then what is the municipality role in such microgrid network scenarios, especially in an unbundled Eskom environment? Let's talk at another time in detail about it, but this is a question for you to think about. Then how the municipalities could play efficiently with changing policies and legislations. Again, the policies which people have now may be changed very fast, so that the municipalities should be able to anticipate what will be happening. And then the role of municipalities in infrastructure development for battery energy driven and hydrogen driven EVs. Go in line with national roadmap. Develop policies and legislation for infrastructure development and operational fees. Fast expansion of using electric scooters. This is another very important point that we can discuss in detail at another time, but there is one slide where I will talk few more words on that. What is the role of the municipality, and communicate with central government on short and long-term missions. Always go along with the central government policies. And I will run quickly as my time is going out. This is the EV growth prediction in the world. You can see that it's growing really, really fast. This is the prediction for the next couple of decades. And this is the vehicles in South Africa. Let me run through it. So this is about the scooters. And now in Europe, the owned and rented scooter system is becoming very, very fast popularizing. Maybe the same scenario in Europe cannot be planted as it is in South Africa due to the theft and security reasons. However, there may be models. And the question is that what would be the business model for municipalities when it comes to a country like South Africa? So don't forget that the prediction, what you see is the prediction for South Africa when it comes to electric scooters, it grows significantly high. And then I'm coming to another important point, imports of substandard storage systems. So this is something that you have to pay attention as a municipality when you are adapting energy, battery energy storage, or whatever the energy storage systems to a city. Bad maintenance.
Professor, could you wrap up in the next couple of minutes?
Just one more slide after this. Explosions, irresponsible disposal, and then the piling of battery waste. So this will be a huge headache for municipalities if you go unplanned. So don't have unplanned adoption of ESS, which will give you a menace at the end. Follow standards. These are the standards. And this is the final slide. Take home for municipalities from this presentation. Think beyond procurement. Take the full advantage of the amendment. Pay serious attention on the outcomes of pilot projects. Explore all possibilities of generating energy. Utilize energy storage systems for increasing reliability and resilience of the supply and increasing the income. Get expert advice for optimizing the selection, sizing, placement, operation, and maintenance of the power network. Urban microgrid is a near future reality. It is not virtual. Get prepared for that. Operation and regulation of EVs. Have a comprehensive roadmap in line with national and international standards before the first step. Think seriously about developing sound project proposals to attract investors. Thank you very much, and sorry for the few minutes extra I have taken.
No, your timing was pretty good. Thank you very much, Professor. And thank you for that overview of some of the considerations that municipalities should keep in mind around storage.